recognition for life and service, in honor of what we have all accomplished and what we will go on to do. Let us take heed in the storyteller to account the story that brought us together, because in understanding our story, we can gain true nobility and the constant improvement of ourselves.
We met at the beginning of this week, though I was just a light in the distance. Now, having shared this valley, that distance between us is gone. Yet the summer sun sinks low. Shadows stretch from in between the trees, and night fills our valley. Let my light shine again, a fire to cast away the cold and darkness. After all, it is custom to share stories gathered around a fire. And how fitting a fire to our story. For our story began with a wind from the north, a wind blowing dust from embers deep within our hearts, a breath of life igniting passion and conviction, a fire rising radiant and light and warmth, a beacon for those in the darkness, and a shelter for all at its edges. Now, gathered round the light of this fire, we may see each other more clearly, and so prepared, better celebrate and understand our story. Disparate lives have found ourselves here at Ma-Ka-Ja-Wan in the great North Woods, not knowing names or faces, but recognizing in each other a shared belief. For there is a common understanding in this valley that we are at our greatest when we spend ourselves in service. But this service is not inherited or imposed. It is a greater vision, born again and again, rising in times of turmoil and of peace, by those who have come before and those who will come after. Our story begins with a wind that gave breath to the lungs of a sawyer who called out to those around them.
My fruit in the trees I see shakes, and my hands bring the forth. My craft is in this vision, for there is a higher vision still. Let us live deliberately by the virtues and principles carried by our souls. There is a land yet beyond the ruinous waste, where we can begin again. Long ago stolen, corn and knot, strip of land, and mud, and gold and difference. Yet, this life has slowly begun to return the world to what it once was. There are travel. We can nurture this life anew and become exactly what we make of ourselves. Undisturbed, we can live in service of one another, but I do not know the way.
My friends, I am a pathfinder. I have heard your calls, and I shall come live my life in service. It is my purpose to lead my companions and navigate through the unknown. However, of is long and hard, and we will need another to help us live off the land.
My friends, I am a hunter. I have heard your call, and I shall go with you to spend my life in service. For it is my trade to harvest the bounties of the land, to take only enough of what is needed so that the land may thrive. Together, let us set off with all who share our vision.
And the sire spoke to the gathered numbers.
My friends, before we set off, take heed. This is an arduous journey. We must be physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. In the face of the wild unknown and the terrible familiar, we must be brave. We must be loyal to our purpose and clean from the corruption of our vision. You are offering yourself, but there are others still. Amongst you are scouts, chosen by your fellow scouts, who have upheld our tradition of service and live up to the ideals of scouting, who have been selected to remain. I call upon them now.
claimed their shelter. The pathfinder left the wolves and water. And in that moment, the hunter understood that there are some things known only to the wild. The hunter released the arrow into the woods, turned, and retreated. Upon their return, the hunter spoke to the gathered number. My friends, we have made our home in this forest, and from it we have drawn nourishment for our bodies and souls. But there is more still. Beyond what we can see, there is a greater beauty that lives in harmony with the greater chase. We should serve all life of this world. Be kind and mindful of all. Be thrifty with our resources so that we may live in balance. And obedient to the principles in which we hold ourselves. If we are to live in service, let us do our duty to God and country, to help people near and far, for all that shares and will share this world. There are amongst you scouts, chosen by your fellow scouts, who uphold our high ideals of scouting, who have been selected to remain. I call upon them now.
Alicia. Let's go, Alicia. Yeah, I can hear they're tired. Forgot, does Alicia go back after? Alright. That's crazy. Yeah, it makes sense.
We have now gathered
It does.
all that will remain. These scouts will not return with you this evening, but instead they will be offered an experience. And upon their return, they will understand the true joy of cheerful service. But this duty is not theirs alone. Let all of us who have been chosen before and who yet to be, let us strive to live by the virtues and principles of our great tradition. My friends, before we conclude our ceremony tonight, we have yet to make the selection of 3 individuals who, by their example, inspire others to find beauty in a life of service. These 3 were not selected at random, but for their commitment to our cause. Even through their struggles, they are forever cheerful. So they experience a truest form of happiness, which comes from serving yourself for a greater purpose. I call upon now Adira, Ryan, Andrea, Constantine, and Alex Sanders for their devotion as example for this life of service. It is now you we recognize and honor for your dedication to serving as example. I wish for you and for all who live in pursuit of this great purpose that you might give it to yourself entirely. When an experience is truly exhausted, you will find that you hold it in reverence and in love. For he who joins his fellows is of all his fellows greatest.
The summer sun sinks low. Shadows stretch between the trees, and night fills our valley. The wind is stirring yet again, and it pushes us each toward our own path. But this is not the end. No! This is the wonderful beginning. We must go beyond this valley to live in service of others. But let us forever cherish the threads of purpose and place that bind us together. And now, I ask that all those who have shared this fire before stand physically or in spirit.
People have been here. Wait, what? Oh.
You, my old friends, have returned to better yourselves, and I charge you to lead in service. And now all who tonight have seen this fire for the first time, rise physically or in spirit.
What? Oh wait, I should have stand it up because it's my fifth.
Together, we share the joy and responsibility of this great tradition, which is each of us to carry forward.
I don't know.
How fortunate are we to
have roamed this forest, paddled these waters, and slept beneath these stars. How fortunate are we to have met in the waters of friendship, in times of play, knowing they'll be there in times of hardship.
How fortunate are we to have lived, even for a short time, such that every hour of the day and the night has an unspeakable, perfect miracle.
How fortunate are we to have a purpose in which we spend ourselves?
How fortunate are we, the scouts of Ma-Ka-Ja-Wan, gathered round here around this fire, united in common purpose, with the hope to be united here once again.
We who have learned true beauty in service, now made ready through experience, let us venture forth beyond this valley, fortified by the bonds we have made here. And remember, if you find yourself far from here, in the dark of winter, in our hearts, there burns an invincible summer! Please return to your campsite in absolute silence!
That was pretty cool.